Of course, right when you want to start talking, you have to, you realize your throat's raw. So I just wanted to take a break today from work, which my job is highly stressful right now and sucking a lot. So I just wanted to take a break and show you like the weekend review of like messing around with SuperBasic on the Foenix 256K2 again. And I'm just, every time I start writing something, I'm just shocked at how elegant the SuperBasic implementation is and how easy it makes stuff to do. And here's a great example, and then I'll show you how these files go together. So you can take all your sprites. There's external utilities that'll move all your sprites into binary form and just set them up ahead of time for you. And in this case, it's the file called graphics.bin. All the bin files are actually sprites, but graphics.bin is the one I want to show you because it's actually an entire deck of cards. And they have this command called bload, binary load, which allows you to point at that guy. And if I could hit the right key, what in the, what? There you go. If I could hit the right key and put in the hex address of 30,000, I can actually load that file directly into memory at that address, which happens to be where the sprites want to be if you don't change any of the flags or anything. And I'll just hit the key. So it's already done. So we can turn sprites on now because they're just sitting there in memory. Now in a Commodore or some other crap, you would have to sit here and poke this around. Poke like, you'd have to do like 5 pokes just to see the sprite and know if they're loaded correctly. Here you don't need to do that because if they're loaded in image order already, and they were already loaded knowing how big they were using the program offline. In this case, I know they're 32 by 32. I can just address them by their, I could just say sprite 0 is going to be image 0, and I want you to put on that screen, put it on the screen at 100 by 100, and there it is. So I can keep going. I can say the end of the deck is 51, so that's image 51, and put that at no, let's don't put it at 1010. Let's put it 5050, right? Which would be the ace of hearts in my deck. I don't know why I chose that being the ending card, but for some it's OCD to have like black red, and ace of hearts is definitely not the highest ace in the deck. I don't know why I did that. Also the card back itself, right, is sitting here. There it is right there. And these are coming out square because these were just brute force cards that I put together. Let me turn this off. These are just brute force cards that I put together. I actually did make some better looking card anyway. But I want to take my time and build that deck out because I actually enjoy doing that. And I can show it to you though. Block. And that's not the command. Test deck dot bin. Holy crap, can I type today or what? I do fine until I put a mic in front of my face and then I totally start jacking it up. All right. So we'll load that one. All right. And we'll say sprites on, sprite 0, image 0 to 100, 100. And that's like what my new jack of, that's supposed to be spades, but that doesn't look like no spade. It looks like a jack of clubs. So I may keep that as the clubs and try to figure out how to represent a spade of 9 pixels. Also, because of the number that I cut off the left and right, I actually ended up in a situation where I can't center that on the jack because the jack is 2 pixels wide and the suit is 3. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have to redo all this. But yeah. So let's ignore that for right now and let's switch screens. We'll come over here and I'll show you how this works and then I'll get the hell out of here and go back to work. Basically, you can put all your assets in like a single folder. In this case, you can use pings as long as they come like right out of a sprite. Like here's one, like there's the 3. Let's see, is this hold on. What's it called? It's called all right, so it was a Burger King order. They can be represented as a PNG, in this case 32 by 32, right out of AES Sprite. And then when you stack them all in here and you have all your cards done, you can actually create a definition file for them. And basically all this is a listing of every card that's in this directory. And I think that 0 is supposed to be the rotational part of it. I am not 100% up to speed on how the Sprite def works. Here's some lines that came in the demo that they commented out, but they weren't really clear as to what the hell that does. Like, what does V and H do? No flipping clue. So, so this is the struggle of some of these, the brand new system and brand new people using brand new tools, and they're not documented very well. But anyway, if you do 0, it'll at least load them in. Then there's this command called sprite build, right? That does all the hard lifting. So you can create a make file and just say, hey, um, you know, use sprite build, sprite's definition to build the graphics bin file. And then you just take this guy that's right down here, which I'm not going to click on, and shoot it across or put it on an SD card and move it across. And you can like take, did I actually write this out? Yeah, you can actually use the Foenix manager.zip. There's this Python library that you can use if you set it up correctly, like know what COM port everything's on, that you can actually move that directly over to the SD card, which is what I do. But I don't actually, I do have this pushing to basic program over there on Make, but to be honest, I comment that out almost all the time. I like to work in the box, which is weird, but I like this. I love the keyboard. I love the tactile feel of it, and I love their version of syntax highlighting, and I think it's beautiful. So I would much rather be over here. I was the same way with White Lightning and other stuff too. So I would much rather be in the box doing it. So but you could do it 100% out of the box. I do keep a backup in GitHub of like what my game looks like, and I can load it over here if you guys want to see it real fast, and then we'll call it a day. But the reason I have all those cards stuffed in that way is so it's called Card Game 2 Basic, right? And this is it's fairly big, but I mean, look at this. This is all I really need to develop, and the line numbers are not very nice because I'm always inserting and removing stuff out of here, but I don't have a problem doing like, if I want to know where all my procs start at 1,000 or whatever, I don't have a problem saying, whoops, start at 1,000 and list them all out. It doesn't bother me at all. Anyway, let's run this. So what it'll do is the same command that you saw me do, where it'll load the sprites at the top, and then it'll just deal a hand. It should be 5 cards. Yeah. And then I haven't created the highlighter yet, so that when you click like 1, 2, 3, and then hit return, it actually shows you that it's holding 1, 2, and 3 and redealing. Also, I noticed my bubble sort has stopped working for whatever reason. It probably has to do with the fact I changed what it was sorting on and then forgot. It's supposed to be sorting on the card's numerical value in order from like it would be in your hand. Like those 5, it should be 5, 10, 10, Jack, Queen. For whatever reason, it's wrong. And you can see up top that there's 11100. That indicates that I clicked 1, 2, and 3 before I hit return. So I haven't got the redeal thing yet, or the scoring or anything else. But it's on the screen. I mean, you just saw it work. Actually, if you keep hitting return, it'll just deal new hands over and over again. But yeah, I mean, that's the idea. So it's really a really nice platform to develop basic games on. And it's not necessarily slow. Like, let's look at it one more time. I mean, this is just dealing simple sprites to the screen. There's no complex easing or, well, there's no sine, cosine in here really. So there's no easing, but just using a little event loop to try to like, ooh, look at that. 3 of a kind. Anyway, it'll redeal as fast as I'll hit the keys. So basic is a fine language for something like this. A card game, why not? Right? So this is what I'm going to continue to work on. And as I find little gotchas in here, bitmap clear 3, sprites off. As I run into little gotchas in here and other things, I'll try to do tutorials on it and that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to go through it one time and actually work on something that I wanted to work on in my spare time that doesn't cause me to stress out. And learn a little bit about that product because SuperBasic seems to have everything that you would need. Um, I I think I could probably just create a lookup table of sign values and maybe, I don't know, 32 values. It would be kind of blocky, but at least you could have some kind of easing for stuff to move in and off the screen. But whatever. That's a talk for another day. I just want to get it working now, and then yeah. Anyway, that's a week in review. Like that's what I learned. Sprites are really easy to deal with. Another thing you could probably wonder about too is bitmaps, and I haven't fully figured this out yet, but I did learn the hard way that bitmaps are now just like sprites are 32 lines and 32 lines and 32 lines and 32 lines. Each value inside the sprite is a value from a lookup table, and that lookup table has an indexed color attached to it. By default, the default palette is pretty good. AES Sprite, the things that come out of AES Sprite and come in here look exactly like they're supposed to. You notice there's no LUT. I wasn't loading no lookup table or anything ahead of this. This was just me loading the sprite right into memory. You can also take a file, like we can do that same graphics file, even though it's going to be crazy looking. And we can load it into 10,000, which is where the bitmap's supposed to go, and watch what happens. It actually tries to go 340 across, and it'll do it 240 times across the area that we have the bitmaps in the file. And what it ends up doing is it ends up writing the top of a slice of almost all the cards, and it offsets a slice and offsets. That's why you get this cool design. But, it is possible to load a bitmap layer in here. And I just haven't figured out a really clever way of editing one and doing one that makes it look like a felt table or whatever I want to put in the background. I think the blue makes it look like a video poker unit anyway. I'm not sure what I want to go in the background yet, but that's a talk for another day. And anyway, I got to go back to work. I just thought I'd show you some cool stuff about how easy it is to deal with sprites inside SuperBasic and the Foenix F256K2. And peace out, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.